Um, lately, things which I'm actually predicting coming to fruition. So, like 4, 5 days ago, I've been saying about that soon we're gonna have like major, like um, higher in Richter scale earthquake in Indonesia, and it happened actually today. It was, I think, 6.5, so it's pretty strong. Um, Also, I've been making this. I made this tarot reading last night about well, somebody who had like kind of like in what's it called, the ancestry, which was definitely related to witches in like the most classical form. So I did my spiritual practice. I went to sleep, and at the exact 3 a.m. I'm getting woken up by something wanting to merge with me. That's how the best I would describe it. Wanting to combine the energies, combine itself. And I'm seeing the entrance gate. Something comes through the like a patio window in my child's room. Uh, and I'm kind of like terrified. The entity looks like a scarecrow, elegant scarecrow. That's how I the best would describe it. And it tries to well, bargain with me. So I had one sentence that the Archangel Metatron is here, and I feel its presence. I wasn't doing much, although I got a little hasty, a little aggressive. I've been definitely using some sort of repelling spells and curse words. I also made some sort of rituals relevant to protection. Last night after reading, I thought to myself, if anything's gonna happen, it better come to me than to somebody. So it did. And it was exact 3 a.m. At 9. This is very typical, by the way. It's very typical for particularly Christian church and Christian witches' covenants, which are around the Christian church. So imagine that just after 12 hours at exact 3 p.m., I've seen a priest in a hat and two of my well, supporters. What are they called? I'm not 100% sure. In front of this very window, trying to enter and give blessings to home, which is like perfect description of the duality of this reality. So it's like pretty magical experience, I'd say. All through, it was pretty heavy fight. I bet that many people who would have this kind of level of hunting in the nighttime would perhaps well, maybe perhaps not know what to do in this particular. Also, prior to this, of course, everything literally which I took into my hand started to break last night after this reading. And also one other thing, so I had this like a Perkimer diamond, and this is from like Pakistani Himalayan, I'm not 100% sure, but version of like Herkimer diamond, and it had like a little diamond attached to it over here. The crystals still look great, and I've been actually wondering when it's gonna happen, because it grew on that and was like about to be detached. That might be also significant, like somebody detached from some sort of a bigger structure. Somebody was perhaps disconnected from a particular soul tribe. That's what came to mind, definitely. But at that time, for me, when it happened last evening, it meant that somebody actually was able to crack through some sort of protection, was able to crack through a crown chakra. And a lot of relevant things have been happening. Later on, I've been having somebody's ancestors here, and I've been having particularly one woman who would be the best described as Queen of Cups. She been extremely apologizing for how much harm she did to somebody in their lifetime, and how much she was jealous, and how much she was holding somebody's ascension. This 3 a.m. hunting was sent by this particular person, where the entity she was using was well, mimicking her astrally, and was so that they come in peace. Definitely, it was the first sentence which entity said. So I tried to be somewhat welcoming. Of course, I sensed that it's not a positive energy. Um, so I remember I said it, but from my higher self perspective, that they are forgiven, but they're gonna, but so they are welcomed on this train of karma right now. The train of karma, which somebody I will be here reading for, had chance last night, particularly through this big alignment which happened on the sky, where Venus and Mars were at the same degree as the Sun, conjuncting side ideally, opposing to this Jupiter. And you left this karmic train. You just left, and you arrived in your destination, which is called traditionally in Western astrology a North Node. That's how it worked. That was the last hunting. I also been asking why it had to happen. Why I actually had to. Why did protection? Because I don't see it how it broke. It is like you allowed it in. Like I'm talking to Archangel Metatron here. You allowed it in. Why? Because they had reason. They have reason to put somebody in spiritual jail. They have reason to put somebody in literal jail. They have reason to serve karma, and this is like a particular reason because this person was promised to leave you alone, promised to higher power, and this very detachment. I think this person must be somebody from somebody's. It must be somebody part of family. Part of family is a big thing here because I'm seeing this crystal as like a more bigger family structure, and this little kid, you see little kid detached, finally absolutely detached. Like there is no more possibility of binding. Of course both crystals are beautiful and both crystals are here very useful. There is no even no damage. See, there is no damage to anything. There's just the crystal's been detached. This is clear message here. So I think congratulations to everybody who managed to cross over or go through it. Okay. I'm thinking the biggest, like the most relevant topic today, and the numbers 222 important, 555444. For some group of people 666, 27, as I've been explaining like few videos ago, and 808. 808 is where this particular person, this Queen of Cups in reverse, every year she's been doing certain will sacrifice, and then we come to it because I actually will be, this video might be not for everybody, and this video might be also triggering because I will talk about the nature of sacrifice in a different manner than people usually do in a tarot. I don't even know what I'm gonna say yet, but I already sense that it might be controversial take. And what I wanted to say here, because we talk about being perpetually sacrificed from the time somebody was born. And we're gonna go into it, like how it works on a psychological level, why it works, and why certain people are chosen to be sacrifices in the first place. What's so different about them, or what is, are they let's say less than others? Are they easy target? What is the quality of a person who is being chosen to be perpetually being a sacrifice? Okay. Michael might be very significant in this particularly. I'm hearing it also in Polish language. This video is supposed to be made in Polish, actually. That's what I've been called to do just before I started. So I guess I might one more. Yeah. There was something important about it. I want to come back to this situation with a priest visiting homes and the hunting at 3 a.m. and 3. This is very very characteristic to like a Christian order, I guess, because like as we know, I think Jesus Christ was like murdered on this cross at 3 p.m. The daytime, and 3 a.m. nighttime is where it's known for witches and the opposing sides, right? This reinforcing this duality, like on the most possible, the two possible edges of the spectrum, like fighting and spiritual war. It's very much reinforced in here. Um, so here I'm seeing the attempt to definitely bind somebody. And the sensations I've been feeling last night, is of course, as I was mentioning last evening already, terrible headache and strong pull by legs. Like all the legs are getting like numb and hurtful, and it's just like a pull to the underworld, you know, like forceful pull. This is when, if something like this happens, it's very characteristic of you definitely releasing last bits of religious trauma, releasing the last things which are here to still condition you within this 3D reality. And you may be sure that you are on a good path to have truly monistic experience later on. All through these pools are perpetual, and that's why I'm saying this Queen of Cups is a person who's definitely blocking somebody's ascension, because perpetually and strongly want to pull somebody towards the dualistic understanding. And we were talking about the reasons yesterday, and the reasons are, first thing is just truly competition, narcissism, want somebody to be below them. But when they go above, they sensing they doing the most powerful possible ritual, using this church coven at the day and at night. At night is very important here. So somebody is like oscillating on the two possible edges of the spectrum of a duality, while not knowing what is in the middle at all. That's what we talk about. Okay, so let's start. So we have Five of Swords is definitely extremely extreme conflict. Desire to know, the acquisition of wisdom is also important. So somebody is getting on a path to receive higher knowledge. Also very important today morning, even though I had like a really terrible night, and I've been doing various things to kind of cleanse the space. The snow is like at this level. Everything was illuminated by a soft rays of the sun, and everything was absolutely white, and like just literally everything. And also the fact that this crystal godrose, this is the only crystal I've been having. Everything is clean. Everything is absolutely clean. It's as somebody is like a last bits of somebody's conditioning, 3D conditioning were released last night. I hope a lot of you relate. This is absolute over of somebody's binding. Something else comes to mind, and it was also the reading on which it turned on for me in the morning. I think it was from Linda Likes Tarot, and I'm not often listening to these readings, but she started very powerfully, I remember, while speaking about narcissism and narcissistic structures. She said she read an article that there's more and more people leaving the abusive family structures, and they absolutely gone. They're creating a wall, and they're not participating in it. And there is like an uptake in the media saying like what those parents or those families have to do now when they lost a child, right? What's gonna happen? And she was like very harsh about it. She said, so imagine like somebody's poking your eye, like strongly poking your eye all the time, a little bit. You are in this kind of family structure when you are the one who's kind of being well, all the time well, degraded, not respected, sacrificed, always the last one to receive something, always the last one to, or is the one who does all the work, you know, Cinderella story type of situation. So somebody keeps poking your eyes strongly and strongly and strongly. And then, you know, like, you remove yourself from that because, like, you don't want to be blind, right? Because if they poke in enough amount of times, you will lose your eyesight. And then they just saying things like, why won't you let me poke your eye anymore? How come you cannot? How come you not letting me do this? This is outrageous. How is possible I cannot do this anymore to you? You know, like, this kind of situation. Is it even rational? Like, and you know, all the flying monkeys, all the people who are being sent and are there to well, not only work as a spy and condition you to you know, return and to return to the abusive environment. So it's like, this motif is definitely very important, and this is like a, well, classical narrative we hear everywhere nowadays. I've sensed something very much different today afternoon in particular. Okay, Five of Pentacles. The forbearing God. Patience reveals secrets of nature, spreads knowledge and industry. And this is a Five of Pentacles, actually, where angelic deck has this wonderful quality in which, like, there are cards which can be in reverse, of course. I have plenty of cards in reverse, but none of them have like a classical meaning of a tarot. So this is like a really different look, and this is literally higher look at this situation. This is very merciful look. This is very the outlook in this deck of cards shows the outlook from a higher form of entirety, almost like from a platonic standpoint, from idealism at this truest form. We're gonna look at this because, like, how can we be more how to call it? I'm not talking about objectivity here, even. I'm not talking about being just, you know. How can we be, because justice already happened a long time ago. We're trying to be merciful. We try to look at it as if there is no evil. Like, there is literally just, everything is just a lesson. Everything is just an experience, and we're not valuing which is good or bad. We don't even do that. We're gonna take this kind of look at this formal situation. So we talk about, well, sacrifice. We talk about various forms of black magic, which are extremely severe. We talk about voodoo. We talk about sending dark entities. We talk about all sorts of things over here, and we're going to take a look from the higher perspective. Okay, see, so somebody went through a lot, definitely, and through this, somebody was able to understand the alchemy of how things are, well, coming to existence, how things are, what are the reason for things to erode, whether it is a emotional resource or mental resource, or even no 3D regular type of alive object, let's say. Somebody just knows the rules and of how energy functions. And somebody learned it really patiently. This card. So we have Three of Cups, the right hand of God, flame and renovation, influence, commerce, voyages, and great discoveries. And this is like, this particular image reminds me of what inner child, 1919 on Michael, inner child would look like. Although this child is here in the middle of the certain structure here, it's not being crucified, it's actually being carried by a bird. There is a fire around, and there is like multiple eyes watching over a child, and this is a divine child. In the Enneagram, if you learn Enneagram, it's Enneagram 7 comes to mind here, which is like a divine child, somebody who is free and able to explore, and this is definitely the mission here, to have this I'm hearing intellectual freedom. That's the first privileges of somebody I'm reading for. Okay, let's leave that and see. Somebody should be able to explore. We have card which flipped. Healing capacity, protection from web of safety and trouble. And we have this in reverse. Therefore, in somebody's life, for somebody I'm reading for, somebody been traveling a lot, but they weren't protected from things which were happening. So perhaps you've been in various countries, and every time something tragic or scary or terrifying happens to you, because your protection was exclusive to the location you've been in, perhaps. Or perhaps it was purposely removed in the past. King of Swords in reverse. So this is a person who is well, responsible for most of the things which are happening, which were happening in your life. I wonder if somebody may recognize. It's kind of like a facial structure. I wonder if this says something to somebody. Victory grants victory and protection from lightning. This is no protection. The protection from electricity or frequencies or different ways of mind manipulation are done. Not received here. Yeah, I'm seeing somebody, based on this card, I'm seeing very troubled past. Somebody's been searching, somebody's been like feeling like a nomad, feeling like somebody who doesn't not have a home, searching for themselves in various places in the world, yet they didn't found anything. They only found troubles. I'm seeing somebody searching for home because they didn't feel at home in a family structure, for sure. So this was one kind of what I'm getting, like every time somebody left, the family structure was doing something to bring them back. I'm seeing even police, and I'm seeing some pretty heavy things and accusations and stuff. I don't know if this is your story. Many things are surfacing right now as I'm reading. Let me see. 30 years of shame, I'm also hearing. 30 years of shame. Wonder what's that about. So hearing, we came here and lived wonderful life. That's somebody's new soul tribe. And that's somebody's new attitude. Discover redemption. Discover what real redemption is. Show to others what real redemption is. And the sacrifices. That's all I'm hearing now. Somebody has visited some sort of free mountains, mountains, which are some free mountains, triple mountain or something like this is important here. Or somebody should visit. That also might be a thing. I'm seeing like the hill, and somebody's climbing a hill, and the hill is called like a hill of a Buddha. That's also what I'm hearing. Mother, Father, God. Surely a beautiful journey here behind somebody. This process was such important process, and all the disturbances and all the emotional turmoil, so important. Okay, I'm gonna grab one more card. Ace of Wands, fertility and multiplicity, protects against despair, helps one be patient. If somebody was like, this is like showing me like the values of a martial artist, really. Somebody is like, I don't know, I'm here also hearing Mulan. Like somebody is like a Mulan, like um, going a different path, extremely pragmatic, yet very elegant, very sophisticated, but also like there is like a little overlap between like Mulan and Buddha story, but not exactly the same. Of course, her is more dramatic and stuff, but yeah, I definitely see the outline of what's happening here. But the amount of stuff you had to deal with, and there was stuff like which you never could tell anybody about because they simply didn't make sense for everybody. I'm also hearing twice born, and twice born in Hindu. Well, there's this caste system they have, where like somebody is just like a service, somebody is like I don't know, official, so on. They have this guru, sages. They have sort of very holy people who are have very high status. But then like a twice born is well, this was from one of the lectures of Igor Kufayev, I remember now. So there was so this twice born is somebody who already is in a process of doing sacrifices, of making sacrifices. Sacrifice is such an important thing. Like, to explain it more, because like we think about sacrifice in terms of like, well, I'm not gonna eat this cake. That's one way of looking at it. Another one is like killing something or destroying something for sake of gathering the energy coming out of the person. 27 on my clock. And this is all kind of true. It unfolds for me right now. This duality of experience here, it's almost like really getting all blended up, because like really just like a structure or a system behind the behavior is being shown instead of all this emotional overload. That's how it looks for me right now. Like all of the drama and the usual tarot readings are like what happened, the details, and who did what. Usually like why tarot readings are so one way, like we have a aggressor and a victim, because the victim or person who listens to tarot in the first place is highly moral, highly integral person with high values, and we're looking at it from this standpoint, where like twice born, this person I've been talking about, this archetype, which is already very in actually in the Hindu culture, this person is of a higher status, even though it's maybe a beggar, it might be somebody who doesn't have money either, because it's a person who is already in the process of losing identity, of losing their own character, their own identity. The identity of a person is like an ultimate sacrifice, which we make in order to be closer to the divine. So that's one thing. That's why we're looking at it different, the systematic manner here. Even though you had this experience as being, let's say, like a black sheep, being this sacrifice. Let's make it further. This chosen archetype, somebody here who is here to awaken others. So this twice born, it makes some sense here too, but it's not like it's a higher status. It's not somebody who fully awakened or who is one with God or who is very close to God. It's somebody who just started, really. And this already grants such an honor. You see like how different this society is? Like we have so much of twice borns here, and these are people who are looked at very badly in society, because oftentimes the twice borns in our culture are people who are mentally ill. You know, that also is a thing. Or they are considered to be, because they're losing identity. Yet people who are losing identity in our Western culture oftentimes have to replace it with something else. Therefore we have such a uptake in all those different type of identities like LGBT and on all the dictionary of various different types of. That's what's happening when a person is starting to lose this ego, but it goes into like different weird bureaucratic almost like direction, into like more of the, I don't know how to name it, but it might be like one of the reasons why this is this way. Okay, let me draw one card. Six of Swords in reverse. Perception of unity, protects against accidents, heal the sick. So these were forms of free. These were the forms of things which angels had to protect you from. Your sixth house of astrology was very attacked through your life. Perception of unity, protects against accidents, heals the sick. I'm hearing strongly they had no right, and they have no right also very strongly now in my head. Heals the sick. See, but so somebody really wanted to do something terrible to you last night. My hand, leg starts to shake. So yeah, terrible, something actually terrible. What was supposed to happen? The Chariot in reverse. Perseverance, success in conflict, overcoming adversity. So this all in reverse. And also is Michael, is I changed your Michael actually in here. So somebody wanted you to not have this spiritual protection you have. Like they actually wanted to remove this angel somehow, through some sort of trick. And I think this is pretty clear to say this is somebody who actually protects you on a daily basis. Perseverance, success in conflict. So remove this protection and take it for themselves. Like it's some sort of video game and we collect Pokemons or something. Like that's crazy to me. Temperance. Reconciliation, regains the favor of those one has offended. So here we have the energy of being absolutely balanced again. But also like somebody wanted to remove protection to contact you in order to talk about the fact how they're gonna reconcile with you, because I think somebody was given like a last chance, or somebody have been ordered to actually do it, or they will enter this train of karma, the train of karma. The worst thing is that in this situation somebody's been wrongly convicting you of so many things. But here comes this idealism, weirdly enough, and I'm seeing like what is like a true nature of a sacrifice and why is it happening actually. So the sacrifice, we made it always, like on the spiritual path, this is one of the most important thing actually, to be able to stop doing something. And I think what Igor Kufayev, he gave like a neat example, and I remember listening to it. He said like it's just like in chemistry, where the elements are combining, two elements are combining, there are various chemical reactions, there is like things are burning and stuff. When two different elements are combining, they no longer exist this way, because they are going upward in the process. So different quality of a material, or different, absolutely different sort of material is being made. This is just like in this kind of game, I don't know how it's named, but I've been playing it, where you're like adding together different things like lightning and the sand and something comes out of it. Just like this, like you have two completely different things of a category, and they combine and making something entirely new, something more advanced, something more in spirituality. Here is something more purified, something of more of a higher quality. And physically, and is this liquid which like floats up inside of you, floats into your pineal gland. And in order for it to happen, there are various sacrifices which have to be made. as much as society prefer lately to just understand it only on a mental way, it's not, because it's never fully, it's never holism, it's never a unity. And the unity is also ultimate sacrifice, because well, everything is one, but for us to exist, right, for people to exist, for this variety to exist, um, the ultimate sacrifice has been made. Everything blew into existence, into its own right to exist externally as well, part of the unity, but then independent kind of structure, to therefore to combat the other sacrifices being made. So we sacrifice the identity. That's one thing. But also, like, sacrifice is so prominent in ancient culture, right? The animal sacrifice, where it still happens in some cultures, but like a human sacrifice was also a thing. And human sacrifice is occurring when to appease the gods, right, with a person, and like when a country was at the good condition, like whether it's in like ancient, let's say, I think in Western culture this has been happening as well, and in like middle of America there is this kind of like a pyramid. I'm not 100% sure how it's named, but this is a good, well-known landmark which presents. It's a place of a human sacrifice, right? The many people, and they weren't actually sacrificing their people at the best time of at the peak of their civilization. They weren't sacrificing just like whatever person. They've been sacrificing the highest possible person. So they were sacrificing somebody who has been a hero, or somebody who has rescued a lot of people, somebody who's been shown this like higher things. This is who's been sacrificed. This is outrageous, right? Like, how come? Like, how come you sacrificing for God the best person? And also like the people who've been sacrificing the animals, like, because here we now live more internally, and the sacrifices are different. That time people were living together with nature, like it was almost the same, like they were so codependent on nature. So this goat or this horse they had, it was of extreme value to them, of extreme value. It was so dear to their heart. Their livelihood was dependent on this cow or something, right? Or on this goat, on this animal. This was a food source, this was a milk source, and so on. So the sacrifice was coming with really hard, the same as in the Bible. Somebody was offering their son, right? The famous story. It was also the dearest person, right? So it wasn't like those people were sacrificing things just to like gain the level up or to get money. It's not like that, you know. At least, you see, back then it wasn't. It was a genuine offer in order to go into the higher, I don't know, in order to make the reality better overall for more people, for some better outcomes, so the child is not sick. They've been sacrificing. You see what I mean? It's like always there is something. It's not necessarily this, there's not necessarily this like absolute like psychopathic evil nature included in it. And so we may look at this patterning. I was saying yesterday in the reading that this person has very like an instinct. It's not like an intuition, it's instinct. I was saying it's almost like animalistic instinct. So the person who is actually sacrificing you perpetually is a person who might be genuinely thinking like people back then. I don't know if this is a thing, but see, like maybe you don't see a side of the story where actually those people are, well they have this internal feeling, unconscious feeling. They know they have lost their souls. They don't own their souls like you do. So they try to sacrifice the only person who actually has a real soul, who did not sold their soul into, let's say, church or other organization they have. As I was saying, those witches, these witches yesterday who visited me, it's somebody's story. They came to me back, but somebody came back at night, right? The entity. They've been trying to not only merge with you, not only become one, not only gain access to your absolute access to your energy. That's how valuable you are. That's how valuable to angels you are. They directly came to you. But also like the fact that they wanted you to be just like them. That's the thing. They don't want you to be different. They want to be just like them. So seeing this very sacrifice being made, it almost doesn't look as severe in a way. Like, that's what I want to say. It is severe. It is severe. But you see, there is like the element to it, which is like they just don't want you to be different or special. They want you to stick to standards, stick to it. They don't want you to be this twice born. I think somebody's been twice born, that twice born. And we all seen it. They've seen how you walk, how you talk, how you learn what to do in your life, right? Like how easy some things are to you, how much they can't understand the way you speak. They can't understand what you actually talk about most of the time. You see, a lot of it was just like to try to bring you down to this reality. This reality they operate as sleepwalkers, like as people who are not, yet there. So, and also like, isn't it like much more relatable to listen to somebody who is like a normal person, right, going through a process, somebody who's just going through this process, than to listen to somebody who's like a guru or something, somebody who already went for it. I guess as much, I think that's why I like to listen to just like real people, because I feel much more of a connection and much more of a relevance when somebody goes through this kind of situation simply by themselves, because there's definitely an element, overbearing element of loneliness on this kind of path. I'm talking a lot. So this nature of sacrifice is like, we can look at this from this kind of angle, that it's very, very ambivalent, because this all happens because you are a person of a high value. You are a person of a high spiritual, but also like just in every possible way, you have the higher value, and this higher value is what usually people are sacrificing, because the same in the celebrity world, those deaths which are like accidental, like those are people who are like very, very had carried a lot of energy of love. People loved them. People loved their music. People loved their there are examples like this. Here the same, because this is the offering they want to make. They want to make an offering of love, an offering of those energies. They want those energies to be spread amongst them, to be to go to God, so God can give back to them those energies. This is like very, very ancient sort of thinking, but at some point in alchemy and in some point in the history, that's how people were. That's how people were. And here we're dealing with this pattern, which is like practiced for centuries, and it resurfaces in somebody's life. The underlying mechanism is very much the same, but you in your life, you see, you look at it from different points. You doing the same very sacrifice. You probably sacrificing a lot of people, a lot of friendships, a lot of things. You know how, I don't know, it comes like also the information from like Naruto and like